Hello, welcome Reds to Anfield Road TV. Me and Kev from obviously Spider LFC, and of course the two lads from the Kit Men. Kev, chat, let us know if you are watching on the repeat Reds or if there's any Chelsea fans. Please do let us know in terms thoughts on the game. I'm extremely disappointed, Kev, but we'll get straight into that. Obviously, we'll speak about the goals and everything. And as you can see from the title and the thumbnail, that's my thoughts. I think we were still completely miles off, of course. Everyone go take a point from Stamford Bridge. But I seen enough today that we were very a lot of shades from what we've seen last season, mate. But Kev, just your instant thoughts, really, mate.
I kind of agree with you, but I don't put it down to the same stuff as last season because of the tiredness. I put it down to what I did see was that the players that were lacking in it last season were better. What I didn't see, what caused most of the issues that we had seen similar from last season, is obviously a lack of a CDM. But Gakpo, who's normally really good in that left hand side, and was in the early first half an hour going forward.
Tired.
It's just good. Yeah. I looked a bit tired, but at the same time, there was a lot of work to be done with Sterling and Reece James on their side. They were him and Chukwuemeka, is it? They were creating triangles inside and just isolating Andy Robertson a lot on the left hand and on our left hand side, and that took kind of Diaz and Gakpo out of the game from. Let's say, like, the way I'm going to kind of spell out the game is that the first 25 to 30 minutes, it was all Liverpool. We were brilliant.
And then after that, we got absolutely...
5-minute period, it was a bit balanced. And then for the rest of the 15 minutes, of this end of the first half till the first 20 minutes of the second half, was shocking from us. And then we were better again at the last 15 minutes of the game. So there was a good balance there between the two teams, and the draw was probably deserved. But we had the better chances in front of goal. We didn't put them away, but in saying that, that had to be
one shot on target, Kev.
We did, yeah.
It's not really, is it?
It's the shot. The outcome of it wasn't there, but the chances were created, and that's the problem. And because we didn't polish them off, that's the issue there. But didn't like the fact that there was a bit of a thing about. I know people are going to go on about Salah. I like to see his passion when he's like that when he's coming off, but it was a bit of thrown out of the premise more, but because he didn't get his opening day goal.
I was, thank God I wasn't live streaming. I was screaming at the telly. It was like, you arrogant so-and-so. Doesn't matter, regardless of, he's a club legend and we love him to bits, but come on, Mo. And that goes to the point of what last season was all about as well. We've seen a lot of individually poor performances anyway. We'll get to that, mate. Obviously, we'll speak about the goal first. But
main factor. Yeah. Szoboszlai, McAllister, if they have a CDM next to him, that Chelsea team is getting destroyed.
Yeah, but we need to go out in the market and bloody get them. Big John, I'm surprised in there.
I don't know why we need to go out in the market, Jack. We're still the only bidders on Caicedo.
Yeah, but we
just
need
2 days later.
We need more than that.
Oh, yeah, we do, yeah.
We
just take Lavia off him as well.
Yeah, I just don't want this to be another wasted 12 months ahead of us, mate. Like,
there'll be signings made.
Yeah, we need to, mate. And it's very poignant as well, Jack. Keep on getting your comments in. Let us know your thoughts on the game. Now, give us a thumbs up in the chat, mate, if you're available. I'll drop that on Twitter, mate, in a little second. I thought I'd put it in the Twitter group chat, mate, but you're welcome to pop on, mate. Just give us a thumbs up. But it's very poignant, chat, that we did see in Kev, the main man in the stands. There was a lot of being made before the game, be it the Caicedo derby or whatnot. But Christ, if I'm Caicedo watching both teams, and even Brighton, I think that valuation has slightly gone up, probably 20 million, because as Kev's alluded to there, like if both sides, I'd say even both, but mainly Liverpool, if we have Caicedo, then we're bloody going up a notch, really. And that just goes to show how desperate Liverpool are currently. We'll get to all the chat comments as well now, and then we'll jump into the first goal Liverpool just scored, which was tremendous build-up players we'll speak about in a little second. Big up there, Peter. Good to see you on Facebook, mate. Welcome to everyone on the Facebook. Elliot was good when he came in. He certainly was, mate. And we'll get to, obviously, the substitutions, which played, as Kev alluded to, a massive role in that second half period. It was actually great to see some bloody fresh legs and actually players running. which they didn't do for like what felt like an eternity in that second half. I guess the draw was a fair result. Teams for both teams could have won it, obviously, where we needed it when we need to be improving as well. 100% there, Shay. Big up, matey. Big up there, Brian. How are we, mate? Gary, Gakpo and Jota were poor today from Gary's point of view. Nunes must start. Klopp got it wrong. Liverpool need Caicedo and Kone. Gary, we need more than bloody that, lad. And so on, you know. That was a penalty. Oh, yeah. We'll get straight into that because that is a big talking point. Redbirds, yeah. There's a lot to unpack, but you know me, Kev, and all of us, chat. I don't want to be. That's when you know you've played poor, when you're appealing to refereeing decisions. I want us to be going to games where we're just absolutely banging goals in left, right, and centre, and the back. But yeah, we'll have our rants. I know we will on that tonight. What was a penalty? But watching it back, he moved his hand slightly towards the ball. He didn't try to move it away.
It was there. He couldn't do anything. Like if anything, he couldn't get it past himself. You know, if there was a position that his hand, like if you're here and you put your hand out, you can move it in various different positions and not hit the ball. But if you're here, you can't get it out of the way. So look, I can't fault him for not giving that penalty. What I can fault is the fact that the offside rule is supposed to change this season, and it's supposed to give the benefit of the doubt to people if you can't score with the part of the body. From what I've read up on so far, and the only part of the body from the elbow down that was offside was Mohamed Salah's arm, and I don't understand how that wasn't given as onside. For me, it looked onside. I didn't class his hand as being offside because I didn't think you could score with your hand. So it's meant to be a part of the body that you could actually score with. So I don't know.
It's difficult, really, mate. In all honesty, but like we know our mate that was refereeing today, absolutely despised. Might as well have had a bloody Chelsea kit on today, mate. Christ. Yeah. The one thing, and chat, how we, Kev, what are we thinking about that new addition to because I hate that in football. Don't be wrong.
Yeah.
When we've all played football, we probably do that when we were kids and that. But like that's one thing that really does my head in. Probably majority, and probably the referees as well. I've got no sympathy for any of the players, and even McAllister today. And he had to bloody get restrained by the whole bloody Liverpool team at the minute. Like no player should be doing that. And I'm made up that we are seeing now, hopefully and it is consistent. Run that.
I don't understand this because there was a little bit of inconsistency there with what's his name? What was the referee? What's his name again today? The referee, not Atkinson. He's long gone.
The bald one. Oh,
yeah, the Manchester fella. But he was consistent, and it was the right call if you're going to go by the new rules to give McAllister the yellow card for asking for a yellow. But Jota got a yellow card for complaining today. When Enzo Fernandez was almost threatening to go in with the headbutt. Now, he didn't do what Darwin Núñez did last year, but he almost did, and rightly so got a yellow card for the interaction. But you can't give the two players a yellow card when Jota was asking him, like, what the hell are you doing? Jota turned on and said, what are you playing at? And asked him a question, but Enzo went in with aggression. So, I mean, that's rightly a yellow card, but Jota got turned on to referee, and he's just like, he shouldn't be allowed to do that to me or whatever, blah, 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 and then get a yellow card for it. Yeah. There has to be consistency across the board of which one is a yellow and which one isn't. Jota's wasn't a yellow card, Enzo's was, and McAllister's was.
Yeah, 100%, mate. Now, apologies, my bloody dyslexia went full swing there in the comments, as you can see. The link is on Twitter, mate. You're very welcome to jump on with me and Kev. Chat, keep on getting your thoughts in. We've spoke about that. First goal, Kev, chat. Yeah. Extremely, extremely beautiful.
Unbelievable.
Lovely build up, the initial ball from McAllister, then into the path of obviously the wizard that is Salah. I think it was 5-10 minutes prior to that goal. I think he had an excellent opportunity, Salah, to just get that, do the exact same ball 5 minutes prior to that, mate. But yeah, talk us through that, Kevin. Really, what really made you?
Well, for me, it was the tracking back of what he did all day, which was Szoboszlai getting in on the ball, coming back, winning the ball back. The amount of times that Szoboszlai won the ball today in the middle of the park was ridiculous. Like, we always had a worry about Trent going down the right-hand side, about moving forward into position. And the one thing that I didn't see today was that the danger was anywhere near Trent's side all day long. Chilwell, I think, got past once or something when it was left vacant with Konate there, but he recovered well. But all the hassle was coming down Robertson's side where he was left open, which means that Szoboszlai was doing his job on that side. And McAllister was doing his job in the middle. We just didn't have anybody on the left hand side where McAllister would be if we had a defensive midfielder to do his job. So yeah, he was brilliant. You know, he laid it back to McAllister, the pinpoint ball from McAllister onto Salah's foot. He did that. 99% of those balls that he did today landed on Salah's foot, and one he missed. And Salah's then vision to play it through to Diaz, which was great. I find Diaz is a great player and he's great for getting into that roles. I just find it's great. What I did. So I have to give him credit where credit is due today. He tried to cross it a couple of times from the left hand side when he was getting into position, which is something he normally doesn't do. Normally he drifts across the edge of the box and tries to look for a strike. But a few times he tried to get the crossing, which is great. But he gets isolated out there if he doesn't have somebody like McAllister to bounce off of or Gakpo going forward. And if you've got Chelsea coming at you like they did with Sterling dropping into that gap and Reece James overlapping him, that's the problem. That zigzag was killing us in that, and Chelsea found that was hurting us in that 20-minute period in that first half. So at the end of that first half, and I started and well into the second half is when we've seen it mostly. But yeah, for me, Szoboszlai, outstanding goal, outstanding, great finish. Complete contrast to what Chelsea's goal, which was just messy defending, messy team, but a good finish. A good finish there.
Very much get to that. Unpack that. Niall, how are we, matey? Hope you're well. Massive thank you for jumping on. I'm fuming off the back of that result, mate. I am. I know everyone go, oh, it's already first game of the season, but we've seen league titles be lost by 2-3 points with Liverpool and City. Every point, and it was the lack of mentality really that it got to the 60th minute mark, and it was almost like it was that yellow card for Trent now. That Joe where he's taken about 5 minutes, and you know it's coming. Even us, probably everyone watching the game wherever he's where, and you're like, "What are you doing, lad?" Because if he got that yellow, and he still had 20 minutes left to go in that game. Imagine if he got a silly yellow card and got sent off. Like that is what you're playing with. Oh, but enough of me moaning, Niall. Happy with a point, Niall, or
no? Lads, I have to be honest with you. The only reason I'm not absolutely losing my shit is the fact I'm going on holidays tomorrow. Oh. That's the only reason I'm not absolutely losing it. I really am. I'm extremely disappointed. I mean, that's a very, very new Chelsea side that have barely played together and stuff like that. And at times in the game, I think the first 20, 25 minutes, we were absolutely sublime. We were on it. We were at it. We were pressing. We were closing down. We were winning balls. We were suffocating them. We were doing a lot of what we used to do and stuff like that. And then, you know, the goal we got was an exceptional goal. That ball from McAllister out to Mo and stuff like that was as good as you'll see on any pitch and stuff like that. I thought we were really good and I was quite excited. And I was thinking, you know, I put a tweet out earlier. Spoiler, I don't know if you've seen it. And I said, if ever there was a sign that this means more, this game defined that this means more. These boys are absolutely scrubbing us for 2 days over this Caicedo thing and Lavia thing and all this kind of stuff. And if it's look, we'll take the point, but as Jack said, sometimes you lose leagues by a point and stuff like that. And you know, we often say it's only pre-season. Then we go, it's only the first game of the season, and you know that story sounds familiar. From last season, I thought McAllister. It's tough when you go into a game like this as well because we're basically playing nearly 3, maybe 4 players out of position. And when you go in like that, there's like you'll try to get through it. As Klopp said, he turned around and said we have to find a formation for the Chelsea game, and then we have to find a formation for the season, which leads me to believe that hopefully, fingers crossed, those players coming in. But it's just one of those things that's really frustration. Like. And even McAllister coming in and playing in the 6 when we know he can give us so much going forward is so frustrating. Robbo, you know, I'm the worst for going in on Robbo at times, but today I seen a few issues today that really stuck out. Luis Diaz, not tracking back and supporting him enough and leaving him exposed. Yeah. And the amount of runs he made on the outside, like those old outside runs we used to make. We don't make them on the Salah side anymore because Trent doesn't do it. And on the Robbo side, he keeps on doing it. And for some reason, Diaz must have an allergy to him or something like that because I think he made 4 runs today and Diaz ignored every single one of them and switched back inside. So I'm not too sure. It's just it's overall frustrating. Kanate looked so nervous today. Don't know what was going on with him. He just every time he went into a tackle, and I've noticed with Kanate as well, in recent times, stuff like that, tail end of last season, stuff like that, when Trent does move into that inverted kind of situation and stuff like that, Kanate gets really nervous and having to defend that way, and his hands all over people. And you're trying to
overcompensate, mate, for Virgil van Dijk, because even Van Dijk, he's more or less thinking. I think I was speaking to him, mate, one of the lads, and Jackson in the comments, big up, mate. We were watching a game and we were saying, like, it's almost like a case in point is when's Kanate just gonna, obviously he's matured quite a lot, but after time, even back end, like last season as well, he's good enough to be better than Virgil van Dijk. I know Van Dijk's levels are quite high, but just forget about Van Dijk. Focus on yourselves. But for me, even today, we'll speak about the goal that we conceded. Van Dijk's bloody flat-footed, not anticipated that initial second bounce, second ball, third ball as well. But when you were speaking there, mate, it's absolutely spot on point. When you were speaking about the lads, for me, mate, you were making excuses for them already. Like, and I don't know how you lads felt in that Trent interview. If you didn't see it, the fact that Trent come out and said we'd done all our preparation for the whole week for a different Chelsea formation, and Trent more or less left Klopp in the mire there. Kev, did you watch that interview?
Yeah, I've seen bits and pieces of it.
He put Klopp in the doo-doo, basically turned around and said, yeah, when it actually comes to the game, we didn't have a Scooby-Doo of what to do, really. And that for me is an absolute disgrace. Like, and yet again,
we rarely have a plan B. When do we ever go into games with a plan B? We spoke about it all last season. And it's just, do you know what happens as well? What happens, like it happens nearly every time when we cough up a goal, even when we don't go 1-0 down, even if it's 1-1 and stuff like that. We just lose our mind. We lose our mind. We lose our formation. At one stage, Trent was over on the left. You know what I mean? The whole gaping hole. I mean, we seen that the threat was coming from James and Sterling. Have you ever seen Sterling play as good? He hasn't played that good in a decade. And we make him look good, you know what I mean? And it's just, we were stepping off them, we weren't closing down that space. We weren't going tight to them. We didn't actually know what to do today with Reece James and Raheem Sterling. And we needed, I think at times we were crying out maybe for a little bit of direction from the sideline, and it just wasn't coming. And when you said about Trent's interview there, where he turned around and goes, now listen, I'm not trying to drop the gaffer in it. Like this kind of thing, yeah, but you're exactly throwing him under the bus. So you can't backtrack when you do something like that. And then Poch's interview afterwards was interested when he said Trent is the issue. He should be defending when he's attacking, and he should be attacking when he's defending. You know what I mean? And it's clear to see and stuff like that. But I thought Luis Diaz, he took his goal really well today and stuff like that. But there was a serious drop off in him. He just seemed to just toddle back. He didn't seem to bring that energy. Robbo was exposed, and look, we know Robbo, he's not a left centre back and stuff like that. So it's unfair on the guy, And I've gone in on him so much last season. I thought his drop off was monumental and stuff like that. But we're asking, if you're going into a game like that where it's very hard to predict what Chelsea we're going to do, because everything is so new. Poch is new, players are new, everything is kind of new, and it's just. But we know Reece James, we know Sterling, we know they'll attack us.
Always injured, Reece James.
We know, yeah, and it's terrible, and they've made him captain as well. And like I was saying during the week, I thought he was a real good choice for captaincy, but he has to stay fit because you need your captain fit. He's no use like from the sidelines and stuff like that. But it's a real weird. And then he gives it to Chilwell as well. Chilwell gets the armband when he's going off, and then I think Chilwell came off. Did he as well with a knock or something like that as well? So they're having a really bad run of form at the moment and stuff like that. And it's just in terms of their injuries and all. And it's just, for us, like, we should be getting 3 points there today. We should be better organised. We should be better planned. We really should be looking. Like, to think that we've sat on our hands for 5 weeks after signing those two boys and we haven't got a six in the door. Whoever that bloody six is, Amrabat, Lavia, Caicedo, whatever the hell it is. But the fact that we haven't had a six for the whole pre-season, and then we go in pre-season, we're trying Trent without a pivot, we're trying McAllister in there, who'll do a job for you. McAllister's a good, honest footballer, so he'll try. If you ask McAllister to put on a set of gloves, he'll go and goals for you. That's the kind of guy he is and stuff like that. But that doesn't solve the issue. you know, and then Curtis going in there as well. I thought Harvey came on today. I thought he livened it up a little bit.
Fresh legs as well.
As you said, Jack, Salah going off with a bit of petulance and all, and then, you know, Klopp's comments after the game. Oh, well, if he wasn't reacting like that, I'd be more worried. No, you don't want your players pissed off.
I'd be harsh if I was Jürgen, though, Niall and Kevin Chas. I'd be dropping him next game. I know he's our best player, but, like, especially we'll speak about a bit later as well. There,
but he also said post-match as well, lads. He turned around and he said, I didn't realise that he was going for a record of 6 consecutive opening season games and scoring. And he says, I didn't realise that was the case. Now, is that naivety? Is that covering your ass a little bit? I'm not too sure. Now, you should never react like that, because many times last season we turned around and said Mo Salah should be subbed and we should have a solution for that and a backup as well. And if that backup is Ben Doak, or if that backup is Szoboszlai, or whatever it is into that position. But we should have more competition for Mo Salah. Yeah. And he should understand now that, we know how good he is. We know what he brings, all that kind of stuff. But sometimes in games, if it's not happening for you, you have to accept it. You have to come on and we have to change it up. And, you know, and it's just...
If Mo was playing well, I don't think he gets subbed off. In all honesty, but Kev, Niall's hit the nail on the head on quite a lot of points, really. How do you want to attack that? Really, it was one of...
Yeah, I agree. Well, with the Konate thing, I think it's his. What about nerves? I think he was left in panicky situations, where he was surrounded a couple of times, and one instance where he kind of nearly missed the ball at his feet when he was falling over it. And I think that's what stood out for everything. Other than that, I thought he was brilliant in the air, clearing from the box. I thought he stepped in. He did a lot more work. I thought Verge was doing the early cleanups, whereas Konate was doing the late ones and the clearances. So I thought they worked well that way together. So the defence I didn't really have much of an issue with today, bar the fact that they don't the goal and number 6 would normally be there clearing up the issues right in front of them two guys. And that second ball that came up bouncing would have been whipped and turned and cleared if there was a fella sitting there. But there's nobody natural to sit there. I thought McAllister. Yeah, go on.
Oh yeah, I was just going to ask, how would you approach, as Niall's alludes to, with Robbo? It was a great point. Like, we are massively, for me, Kev, and then just speak about McAllister as well, mate. But we're wasting Robbo's best qualities, and from a tactical sense as well. I get we've got to play him there. We're putting square pegs in round holes. Like, it's almost a case in point. We're Liverpool Football Club. I'm sick to death. And it's negative. But at the end of the day, just go out there and get a centre half. Get Caicedo or whoever. Go out there. The window's still open. But
that's what you've answered your own question, Jack.
We're stifling is what Robbo's all about. Bombing on, as Niall said. He was getting in those positions and he was absolutely petrified to get past the halfway line. He was last season as well. And in the transitions, Liverpool was shocking last year, and Liverpool massively need to address that as well. Not just in terms of a personnel, it's from a tactical sense as well for me, mate.
You put McAllister where Gakpo was today, and Rob was crossing about 10, 11 balls minimum a half, instead of like maybe doing 1 or 2 a game. So, you know, that's the thing there. And it all comes down. Same with the defensive issues. You put a CDM in there, and that defense becomes a lot. Because there wasn't really much of a defensive issue there today, except for the gaps that were left open. But the gaps that normally a CDM would be covering if he's drifting left, if he's drifting right. I got Szoboszlai, I helped out Trent an awful lot today. And he came back, won a lot of balls back, and even did as much going forward. I thought he was actually overworked quite a bit in there, but I think for the CDM position, I think once that's sorted, I can see Robbo being more relaxed in the ball. I can see the defense being more relaxed, and there is a state of panic, I should say, that's been happening with the defense and with the wing backs because of these gaps needing to be filled, because nobody knows who's the one that's going to go in there and do it. I thought McAllister did a good role in the number 6 today, as best as he possibly could. And I thought, you know, he won the ball a good few times, he blocked the balls a good few times, and I thought he helped out the defence well. The problem was he was when it was cleared out, especially in that period where Chelsea had either side of half time, in those 2 15-minute periods, 20-minute periods of either side of half time, he was the one that needed to be picking up the ball on the left when it was cleared out, and it just kept coming back from Sterling's side and from Reece James's side, and that was the issue right there. So CDM comes in there, man, we're beating them today comfortably.
Yeah, I think a number of issues as well, Jack. Kind of McAllister at times as well. He kind of abandoned the 6, and he realised he kind of thought he was an 8 again because he was right up on their box at times and stuff like that. So we kind of lost our shape, and that's where it opened up. But I think as well, even with the clearances and the balls we played and stuff like that, we were kind of at times a bit ball watching. We went to the second, that second phase of that situation, stuff like that, and it just kept on coming back at us at times and stuff like that. I thought McAllister today, I thought he was really good. I think actually he ran himself into the ground in the end. He looked a bit banjo towards the end, to be honest, with the energy that he had brought. But I'm not sure on the Robbo situation. I don't know how we fix it. I think, probably maybe. I think they might look for a right-sided central defender, and they might pivot everything over. And then there might be even more questions then about Robbo and the likes of Costas and stuff like that. I think, honestly, if they were to bring in a Pavard there, whether you like him or not, or whatever it is, but that kind of ill player that gives you a bit of versatility and stuff like that. But he'll probably play right centre, and then they might shunt Kanate and Van Dijk over, play 3 at the back, and then where does Robbo even fit into it then, unless it's different formations and stuff like that. But we're so short.
Yeah, I was going to say there, Niall, in terms of when you mentioned the formation, it was a 4-3-3 at times, wasn't it, miss? It was a quite large spells in that first half. It was 2 banks of 3, and then obviously Cody was playing left centre mid, the left centre mid, wasn't he, mate? Do you anticipate Liverpool to go more 4-3-3 in terms of games if we do get a number 6 sorted? Or?
Well, I hope not, because I think it's a real issue at the moment, because I think we were found out last season. And I think if you look at even the game today, at times Chelsea figured us out, Poch figured us out, and stuff like that. And I think at times we're wide open there and stuff like that. I think the days of 4-3-3 working exclusively as a 4-3-3. Like if you look at today's game, how different is today's game than some of the games we've seen last season, except just different personnel. Players playing out of position again, all that kind of stuff now. And you look at McAllister. We wanted him in there to be that creative box to box, whatever way you want to call it, and stuff like that, in that kind of creativity role. And then he's shackled into a 6, So it must be so frustrating for him and stuff like that. Szoboszlai, I really like Szoboszlai. I love his socials. I love all that stuff. He's an absolute, he's the kind of guy, if you're going into a scrap, you want him behind you and stuff like that. He's well up for it. And even today, you could see he put out a tweet today. It was the first one I seen today after the game, where he says, not happy with what we got today, a little bit disappointed, but we'll go again and be stronger and try better and stuff like that. Yeah. And that's kind of what you want to hear. And that's mentality. Not what we heard. Yeah, it's a proper mentality and stuff like that. But look, it's just, again, this whole DM situation is just so frustrating, And now that we know we have the money, now we know that the money is there, you know what I mean? Makes it even more frustrating that for 5 weeks, we've been flapping around over 4 million or whatever other deals, or 25 million for Amrabat, or whatever it is, whoever he likes or whoever he pinpoints. It's so frustrating. And just today, it's been such a disappointing week, such an agitating week towards the end of the week and stuff that I was so pumped for the start of the league. I got really excited the other day, and then I had to change thumbnails on a video 3 times in the one day, and it's so frustrating, and it's just typical end to a shitty week, to be honest, when you're a Liverpool fan, to be honest, because we're kind of being, we're being sort of drummed up off the pitch. We were a little bit drummed up today on the pitch.
I don't know how you feel now, and Kev, you can pre-anticipate the articles in a couple of weeks, really. Oh, we tried to get a 6. There was no one on the market and all that. We've got another 5-10 minutes as well, chat. I want to quickly get through a couple of the points. Any points at Niall and obviously Kev or chat, let us know your thoughts. Let us know. Chat, if you have to pick a man in a match, let us know in the comments. For me, it would be Alisson Becker. Yet again, saving us on too many of occasions, really. It's almost like it's only been 2 weeks since we've finished the end of the season. Now, straight into it, Kev, get your thoughts in a little second, mate. Alisson, who would you be your man of match? Ali again?
It has to be Alisson again, doesn't he? He made a couple of saves and stuff like that. And even when Mudryk went around him that time, he pushed him wide enough maybe to make that mistake and stuff like that and all. And it's just, it's so frustrating when you have these players and your goalkeeper week in, week out is your man of the match. And we even seen some of this even in pre-season, you know what I mean? Like, you look at some of the pre-season games, they weren't all that odd to what we seen today or what we seen last season. It's just so frustrating. And Do you know what I mean? I wanted to fucking pump those fuckers today. That's it. Like, I can't say it any more than that. Yeah. This means more. I wanted to thump them today. I wanted to see Bowley in the sands looking sick. I wanted all that, you know what I mean? Just today, I'm sick of drawing against them when we know we're, you know what I mean? And some will argue, maybe looking at the second half, maybe we were lucky to get out with a draw and it's a point gained and all. But the way I look at it is one game in and we're already 2 points behind City.
Yeah, 100%, mate. So that's the mentality I've got. Probably Kev, all of us have really, mate.
Like, you see what Kev said on the DM and stuff like that. If they're playing Man City today, Man City absolutely bashed them today at the Bridge.
Yeah, like it was Kev. I want us to quickly conclude in probably about 5 minutes on the young lads that did come on. We'll speak about the substitutions and how they impacted the game. Kev, I don't know. You can speak about the goal we conceded, really, mate, or anything really that you want to throw your.
No, I think I've said enough on that. It was a messy goal. It shouldn't have happened. The lads were unlucky because Ibu cleared it lovely. Sabasa cleared it lovely. It just, the way it just came back in, it was just an awkward bounce as the step up was happening. Couldn't catch the feet. Was his Diassi? What was his name?
Diassi, I think. Axel.
Disassi or something.
Looks like a good signing, by the way.
Yeah.
And Jackson Martinez as well.
Yeah.
And I suppose one characteristic as well, Alisson kind of went the wrong way. Normally he'd go that way and smother that, but he thought he was going to go left side and he went the wrong way. It was just frustrating.
Yeah. It was,
another day that Nunes transfer flies.
Yeah, what I'm doing when I'm sitting there, I was looking at like situations where Pavard comes in and does it, and I'm thinking like, do we really want to chop and change in 3-2-3-1 and just having a fella sitting up top? And you don't really want that in the Liverpool side. You want somebody who's dropping deeper instead of just waiting for the ball up there and attacking. So it's hard. It's more likely going to be like 3-1-3-2-1. If it's going to be with a Pavard kind of in there. So
think about this captain Chaos as well. For a guy of his size, he's so soft in the tackle as well, isn't he? He so awkwardly tries to wrap his leg around players to get balls off him and stuff like that. Like you see Jota there, he'd just be snapping at lads' heels, winning balls back. So Bozaloy the same was brilliant today at winning balls back. McAllister and all. You bring Nunes on and like, you know, even the press after the first 25 minutes was so disjointed. We weren't even sure whether we should or shouldn't press. We were standing off their defence, giving them time to pick stuff into the pockets and all. And it's just how Reece James and Raheem Sterling didn't get shut down after 35 minutes. How we didn't know that was the threat.
100%, mate. It's how you're trying to utilise as well, though, Kev. You bring Nunes on and we're trying to play him as a link-up striker. That's not his game, like Christ. Like, I thought we'd try and at least get the balls out wide, try and get balls in behind that back line for Chelsea, mate. But it's weird.
They cleverly, Jack, though, they cleverly sat so deep. They cleverly sat so deep, if you remember, because Nunes was never beyond them at any stage with any space.
I don't see any future in any lineup for Andy Robertson if we go for a right-sided centre-back. From what I'm looking at.
Spot on. Yeah. That's my thinking. That if he brings in Pavard, he'll just shunt it right across. Van Dijk will go left, Konate will go central, and Pavard.
I've been sitting here doing about 15 formations in the last 10 minutes.
He was busy.
None of them.
You can blame me, Kev, if you want.
No, you're grand.
I triggered you there now with what I said.
No, it's not at all. I've been sitting here and I've been trying because you want to give your best players a justification. I can see a rotational system set up. The only way I can think of doing it is if you decide to go 3-5-2 or 3-4-1-2, 3-4-2-1. That might work, but then you're sacrificing one of Salah and Szoboszlai to do that. You can't do that. You can't do you sacrifice Diaz, but then you're trying to play who's going to play on the left. And then you have, and in this situation there is no Nunes, there is no Jota. There is no in the way of setting up here.
To accommodate it, you're nearly going with a 2 up top.
Yeah, it is a 2 up top. Yeah.
Two up top, like
so the way I was looking at it kind of here, it was going to be, let's use Pavard as an example. It was going to be Pavard, Konate, Van Dijk. Then what you're going to be looking at on the left hand side is a Diaz stuck out there. You're going to look at Szoboszlai on the right hand side, and then you're looking at a top line. So it's almost like a diamond in the middle, but Trent. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like Trent has to sit in there, but he's on the right.
Trent is really doing my head in. Doesn't matter if he's Scouse. he's really watched him today and I think all of us have watched him. I don't, and this goes back what we've all discussed tonight on the show, in terms of the whole team doesn't look like they know what they've been coached in terms of formation. It's almost half-arsed press. It's someone's in someone's position, McAllister overlapping and all that, and everyone will go, oh, it's only first game of the season. But at the end of the day, boys, as I said before, leagues have been lost on edge. And now Gross brought up a great point. If it was Manchester City, they absolutely grab that game by the scruff of the neck. Even when they aren't playing well, they keep hold of possession. If Ruben Diaz lofts that ball outside the penalty area, they've got the confidence just to bring that ball down and just soak the pressure, kill the atmosphere as well. Every single ball that went to Liverpool's box, we were just splurging it wherever you want on the pitch, giving the ball back, giving back the intensity. And no wonder our lads were absolutely knackered as well. But we'll quickly rattle through these as well. There's a couple of great points from chat as well. If you haven't already done so as well, everyone, going to round up in the next 5 minutes as well. But if you are new around here, hit that subscribe button down below. Drop a like on the video as well. Make sure you head over to Spider LFC and obviously Niall from the upper tier. If you are watching on the VP, the links to both lads' channels are in the description as well. So please do head over, show your support to the lads as always. NYFTY, it's honestly not that complicated. Klopp's system got found out a season ago and still hasn't adjusted. I think, as we've discussed tonight, mate, I think a lot of us would agree on that, mate. We just need to go with a system and actually stick with it, and actually the players to really understand the system. But what's that? Watch Gomez play left back next to bloody hell.
I kind of disagree with the system. I kind of disagree with the system found. A lot of people did find our old team with the system found out, but I just found today that we were lacking, and it caused the same sort of panic, and we were recognizing the same panic as the same system from last season. It wasn't. I thought we played it much better from the midfield. I thought the passing in that first 30 minutes, the interchange and the back to run was brilliant. I thought it was outstanding, and that system was different from what I've seen. I haven't seen that for a few years. But I'm telling you, lads, you stick a CDM in there, and that becomes a different Liverpool side. It becomes a more complete more passing. We still need cover. There's really a difference about needing cover, but put it in there in that first 11 with a couple of players that can come in and play that role. Get Jedic back fit so he can cover whoever's coming in the number 6 maybe, or the pivot role. Because with McAllister coming in, it's a Bosley there and the likes of that, you know, Thiago is going to have to get some minutes. I'd say even per his contract, if he's fit, I'd say per his contract, he's going to have to play a certain amount of games. So, you know, that doesn't leave much room for the likes of Bajcetic and stuff like that to get back when he was probably the best shining light we've seen all last season. So there's multiple factors that's outside of just picking a team that's going to do something for us. I'm still looking, and there's going to be a lot of sacrifice. We'll just say that some of this forward line is not going to be there in January. There's too many of them to give too many games to, and I can see, especially maybe Jota gone by January. I can see him. Yeah, I think so. I don't care if he's a good finisher or whatever like that. I just think because of the system that we play, finisher or not, clinical finisher or not, he did nothing for us today. Like, he got in the way of Gakpo about 3 or 4 times. He mostly spends his time dodging his back out of the way so that a ball could be passed past him. And he doesn't fit in there. He fits in there coming off the bench. He is our super sub. What was his name back in the day? Ginger hair fella. No, ginger hair fella. What the hell is his name? I know you're thinking Mac as well. Holy crap, how am I forgetting this? We lived and breathed those days.
Oh yeah.
Our super sub back in the day, Niall. Ginger lad. What's his fucking name? Scored against San Etienne, all of these guys.
Yeah, no,
way before that. No,
I know.
We're going back to the 80s, 70s, and 80s.
He was quite small as well, wasn't he?
Yeah. Fairclough. Jesus, Fairclough.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to think of. So,
disappointed in both of you oldies as well, boys. Come on.
I know, don't even ask me. That's just tired head.
Some of the chat spoiled are now going,
who? I know, Fairclough. I know. So, but that's what Jota could be for this. He could be what our Divock Origi was for the last few seasons, if he can accept that role. But if not, and he's worth the money, get the money in and pack up the midfield. I'd rather have, you've got your Salah, you've got your Ben Doak to bring through there, which will be hindered if we do keep the forward line as it is. You've got your Nunez, you've got your Gakpo, you've got your Diaz. and that's 6 or 7 frontline guys that could all play starting 11. So either hold your hands up and say Nunez hasn't worked out yet and get rid of him, or you get rid of the guy that's been there a couple of seasons and he's banging 20 goals once in that period when he had the feed. But I can't see it happening unless we pack the midfield out more and pack that defence out more, and it could come at a cost of players being unhappy in the front line and leaving within January and in the summer next year. So that are still in a long-term contract as well. So I think
if Gakpo
balances off.
If Gakpo goes into the 9 where he should be, I suppose the decision has to be between Jota and Diaz and how you rotate that, really, isn't it? And when you've looked at it, if you looked at pre-season, Jota's had a really, really good pre-season. More so, and I said throughout the pre-season, actually, when I got to the tail end of it and stuff like that, I was saying Diaz is going to have to work really hard to maintain his place in the team if we were keeping Gakpo in the 9. Today is just such a difficult one because everyone was just all over the place. But I think if we go Gakpo in the 9 and Salah out on the right, there's an argument out there on the left for Jota over Diaz, I think, at times, depending on who we're up against and stuff like that. And in fairness to Jota today, he was the one at times early on bringing the energy and the press and stuff like that. And I think until he got that whack in the shin and stuff like that, then he kind of drifted out of the game. And that might have been the time to look at it and stuff like that. No, I'm not defending him in any way. I don't think he had a good outing today overall when you look at it and stuff like that. But certainly he's been one of the outstanding front men in pre-season, I think, more so than Diaz, to be honest, and stuff like that,
100%. Kev, you ready to go in 5 minutes, or do you need to?
Yeah, 5 minutes I can go. Yeah, it's the main thing for me is that we have to get ahead of it. My thing, what am I thinking, especially earlier, because I'm looking at the formation here, is that we nearly kind of have to go back to a number 10 role. The false 9 is not working anymore. It's forcing us into that formation. But if we go to even Gary Richards just said it there as I was reading down. But is that it? Yeah. So for me, you'd need that number 10 in there. And Szoboszlai is probably that guy that could probably do the role. Jota could do it if he was good enough at the twists and turns on the ball. Gakpo could do it. I just think that...
I think he's spot on there, Kev. I think, as we've seen today, it's quite evident, as we've all mentioned and chats mentioned. We played Gakpo in that middle, and then McAllister was trying to. That would be McAllister. I think we all watched plenty of Brighton last season. He's wanting, as Niall alluded to, top of the show, he was wanting to get into that box, and then he was like, "Oh shit, I've got about 60 yards behind me."
We seen him racing back at times, and he was running back at times.
McAllister, in your way, besides being some sort of pivot off whatever to the end there, he can also, in the attacks especially, he becomes like a false 10, if you want to call it that. So he drifts into that role very late, gets in there, doesn't act like a normal number 10 that receives the ball, can turn like a David Silva, create the play, leave the space, leave guys run up outside him, inside him, and then play the ball through. He's the guy that can get arrive late into the area, and that's what I think we should be looking at.
That's a good point, Spider, actually, because if you look at today, when we attacked today in those opportunities to attack, when we attacked, no one was flooding the box.
No.
If you look at the goal that we scored, even Diaz was the only guy in the box. So that's who it went to, and it was a great pick-out pass. But if you look at a lot of the balls, even when Robbo did play in balls or Diaz did play in balls or whatever it was, there was no one in there. There was literally no one in there at times, And it was just kind of weird, And I suppose, as you said, if McAllister was more forward, he'd be that guy arriving late and maybe.
Elliot was a breath of fresh air when he came on today.
Oh yeah, and that brought up a great pause after a great question. Both of you can attack in a little second. I was made up when these lads come on, the young lads. I was fuming at Salah, and just before that as well, one of the best moments I was made up. I was saying to Scholes and the lads when we were watching it, when Szoboszlai actually took the ball and he drove at, you watch City and you've got about 5 players that can actually do that. You watch Liverpool and we've got probably 1 or 2 players that can do that. But Szoboszlai would just get him through the defence. But Kev, substitutions. Do you anticipate that to be a more regular occurrence? Hopefully Salah's playing well and the lads are playing well, but I think Liverpool, and I would have liked, as Chat's already said in the comments tonight, I would have liked to have seen it a bit more earlier to just give Liverpool bigger opportunities to win the game for me, miss.
Jota should have come off at half-time. So when he drifted out of the game and there was no sign of him coming back into the game, and our biggest hindrance was Reece James and Sterling killing us on that side for that 15-minute period where they were just hammering us with link-up plays. Then that for me was...
Tactically, we never shut it down. We never shut it
down.
No, we let it fester.
Gakpo should have gone up front to give him a chance to hold up the ball a bit better. And even though that's not his game, and then Jones should have come on a bit earlier there, maybe to do that there. But when Elliott came on and Doak came on, but the first thing Doak did in the first 5 seconds he came onto the game was run up the left-hand side, bully Colwell out off the ball, and then turn around, take it, win it back, and then that was it. Elliott then was like, oh yeah, and then he was in the game, and he was winning everything then in the middle of the park from high up and moving on. And, Jones frustrated the crap out of me when he came on. And he was doing his fancy thing again.
Yeah. If you look at the difference on that spider as well, when the ball is played up to Salah, unless it's the perfect ball, he doesn't even challenge for it. No. I think in all the balls that was played up to him today, he jumped once for a header. Yeah. He never jumps for the header to challenge it. He just lets go away. So unless it's the perfect ball or a ball played in behind that he can run onto, he just switches off. He doesn't even challenge. The ball goes straight back to the opposition. Whereas you look at Ben Doak in there, got stuck inside, kicking lumps out of people straight away to win balls back. And that's the kind of breath of fresh air that we need. You know what I mean?
Okay, so if Ben Doak gets his final pass right, he's really challenging Salah for that right-hand side. Salah might even become like a number 10 type figure where he can just drift anywhere across behind a front line.
Just a little pocket rocket, isn't he? I love him. Just let him go.
He's strong for a small lad. He's strong. I don't know what to say. He's like a Minecraft character. He's just built out of stone.
Low center of gravity.
No center of gravity, and he's just running. So yeah, I'm super excited about him going forward. As long as he keeps the head right and does what he needs to do. He knows how to play a ball. He'll run at anybody. He's got no fear. What you don't want in those scenarios is kind of what happened to Harvey Elliott in that Leeds game. Was flying, got that bad injury, came back, wasn't the same player for the last season or so, and then looked a lot sharper this preseason and when he came on now this time as well. So he's looking like the Harvey Elliott that was there before he got injured at Leeds. So that's great. That's a good thing to see. And you want these young lads coming in and doing the role. I think Harvey Elliott can become a really good number 10 as well. Because I was thinking who could probably do it. If Diaz can't do the work outside, then give it to Gakpo. Because for me, at the moment, the more complete player for that left-hand side is probably Gakpo. It's his more natural position on the left-hand side where Diaz plays. And if he can feed it into anybody like Nunez or Salah running through them, because we're going to have to get the best out of whoever's going to play that striking role. And if you're sitting there with that diamond and then sitting it back into the midfield, it's going to sit in front of the 3-man back line with the lads being able to drop back. That's the only way I can see it working is if you do some sort of a 3-5-2. If you're going to do the 3 on that side, you're going to have to do a 3-box-3, play Gakpo out there. It's a tough one, man.
3-5-1-1 maybe with one
3-5-1-1, yeah.
And Salah up central or something like that. I'd love to see Salah more central. I think he has so much work to do these days to try and score a goal.
Yeah.
And it's really tough on him, and they just double up on him and stuff like that.
Yeah, he's isolated when he goes out the wing. He shouldn't be anywhere near it.
We would have seen the goal of the season if Szoboszlai had to put that mazy run away, wouldn't he? I was expecting to absolutely pull the trigger. And I know he even looked at Jota, and of course, because he's new and he's young and he's only in the door, he wasn't going to turn around and go, fuck you, kind of thing,
I would have. I'd be like, who the hell do you think you are? I was just about to score my first goal and it would be like goal of the season.
3 or 4 players.
5.
Smashed it.
He stepped past the fella on his right and then he went through the other 3 and bypassed the thing. Yeah, give it to. But like, he's going to be a baller, man. Like, we know this.
I'd say when he was running, I'd say the last thing he thought he was going to run into Jota in the box. Like, Jota seemed to come out of nowhere as well. Like, I
don't know who's there watching the show, but you were in my chat, and I was berating Jota. And from that point on, I wanted Jota off the pitch. Yeah. That's how bad it was for me. I was just like, dude, you're getting in the way of everybody. And I didn't even mention that while ago when I was talking about him sidestepping and getting in Gakpo's way and that. I completely forgot about the Szoboszlai thing, and I went on a 5-7 minute rant on the channel a while ago, So
how dare you play that senior card, Jota?
Wow.
How dare you play that senior card?
We'll quickly rattle through these as well, chat. It's been an absolutely fantastic live stream. Really appreciate Kevin now jumping on as well. Rattle through all these comments and we'll quickly round up as well, chat. Peter, I think we'd all love Frankie de Jong. I would. I'd love him. Statistically, you look at all the data. These are, I think
that's what's your top five choices for CDM.
Top 5? Oh, nice. I'll go then. Well, I'll go my top 3. Caicedo first. De Jong. Lavia. Yeah, I'll go with that. Yeah.
Niall?
Yeah, it's pretty much the same. I mean, there's one or two others out there.
If we're not getting Caicedo and I take it out of the mix, I'll put him at the top at the moment. You know what I mean? I do have the 5, but I'd put him at the top at the moment. My second choice would probably be Fofana, then Luis, then Lavia, or De Jong, and then Lavia last. So that's the way I'm kind of, because I'd like to be able to see what De Jong can do. I've just seen, as good as De Jong can be in the 6 and whatever, it's a powerhouse I want in the middle of the park. I want somebody kicking shins. De Jong's, I know he's good. He is. He can be, but it's a different type of. He's a different type of player. He's a deep lying player, where I like somebody who actually steps up into him. But he does it late. I want somebody to do it early. I want somebody like a Moisés Caicedo that can do it, a Luis or a Fofana. They come in early. They stop the danger before it even happens. They don't deal with it halfway through it or afterwards. So that's the only reason why my list goes up. I just think these lads can do it better. And well, we don't know that. De Jong could come in and just blow them all out of the water in the Premier League, but I don't think that he'd be coming to Liverpool anyway. So I'm just kind of being realistic of the choices.
What's he on, about 400 grand?
We're still, we're still the top bidders with Caicedo, lads, regardless of what's going on. I know they're trying to they're doing everything to try and get the deal over the line. They could do, and then Liverpool could F it all up and turn around and say, hell, lads, there's 5 million more. Because we can.
Good Lord, if we turned that deal around. Good Lord.
Yeah, that would give all flavors, everyone in own bloody hell. Caicedo will literally run through a brick wall. And as we said, chat, if you're probably dwelling on social media tonight, relax as well. Too many as well, chat. Another one. Especially if they're long and chat. It's a bit of.
Well, then Lavia isn't in the top 5 then.
Looks like especially if Mbappe's signing a new deal at the minute. Looks like he might be signing a new deal.
That's the way we get through many. If he signs that new deal, Real Madrid need money next season. Liverpool say, we'll take him off, We give you exactly the same money you paid for him. We give you 80 mil and 80 million euro for him, and we'll take him off your hands.
I was saying to Jack before when we were watching a game, you were saying Real Madrid just turn around. Well, we say to Real Madrid, write a check how much you want for Tchouaméni, whatever it is. If we don't get Caicedo, as long as it's not 200 million, but it's quite reasonable, I'd say go and get him. I don't know. We're that desperate now, mate. I tell you, I couldn't. I've had 95 minutes of this already this season, and like we all said it last season against Fulham, we've been here before. The writing was on the wall, but I don't think any of us, all 3 of us, not going to kid ourselves if we play bad and that whatnot. But quickly rattle through these as well. 4-3-3 is frustrating when you have 5 in the opposition midfield. We need to stack the midfield. There are far too many gaps, more or less what the lads have said on the stream tonight as well.
I've always preferred 4-2-3-1. It's my favorite formation. I think it works all over the park. You can have the 3 dropping back into a midfield 5. You're covering all of that. You become really defensively a massive unit, and then when you're going forward, it becomes you've got a zigzag formation going where there's lads in pockets of triangles everywhere, and you build a team around that, and it's Klopp's favorite position as well. So yeah, I would go 4-2-3-1 all day. I would take that, or at least 4-1-4-1 that way. If you're going to have a guy sitting deep. So, I think more likely going to be 4-2-3-1 because of Trent.
Cover the spaces, the spaces.
I'm surprised Todd Bowley didn't come on at half time and getting that dugout. Bloody start playing 4-4-5-7-9-1, or something like that. But lads, massive thank you. Niall, please do shout out obviously your channel, and obviously what you got coming up this evening or this coming week, mate, please.
Yeah, it's the upper tier. We're out there on all the socials, including YouTube. We also have audio versions on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music. I have a reaction to the match right after this show. Just a little heads up on it. Robbo gets a pass tonight for once. Obviously, he was left exposed and stuff like that. But yeah, there's a couple of from the vault shows releasing this week as well. Back in some stuff we did on different players and various things like that. Because obviously I'm away on holidays. So there'll be a lot of kind of from the vault from a previous YouTube channel I was on and stuff like that. And I'll drop a few recorded videos while I'm away on holidays as well. So that's mainly it at the minute.
Yeah, spot
cheers.
On, mate.
Thanks for having me.
You're always welcome, matey. Kev, there we go, lad. There we go. Look at that beautiful face. Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not frozen.
Pulling a cart man there. Remember that COVID episode with the South Park lads, Stanley?
Lads.
You're getting removed after that, Kev. Hang on.
I'm back again. I'm back again. I don't know. I'm back again. All right. So lads, I don't know what I'm going to be doing about Saturday, but my watch along because as you know, we've been sponsored Kitman wise for my channel, and the Kitman have been sponsored for Kepler's here in Ireland to run live shows with a camera crew. So me, Jack, and Kev are involved in that, and but from over here, we're going to be hosting a show. It's going to be like similar to what you've seen Gary Neville when people were actually praising Gary Neville about talking about our owners the other day. Similar to that type of setup in this cavern. That's starting on Saturday. We have the camera crew, and it was supposed to start on Monday, but a few lads couldn't make it down, so we moved it to Saturday, and everybody's available now. So all the camera crew is coming down on Saturday. We're going to be doing it weekly, based out on Saturday in Kepler's. We're setting up a stage, lighting rig. We've got desks and microphones, all this kind of set up, ready to go. And that should be kicking off, and it's going to be live with all fan base. So there's going to be Newcastle supporters there, Arsenal supporters there, West Ham, United, all of that. So we're going to be asking about what they think about the season. We're going to be kind of commenting on each other's teams, what do you think each team needs, the usual stuff, just week to week stuff. And that's kicking off Saturday. It's not live yet until they get the proper internet there, but it's going to be recorded shows until then. I'm hoping to get my watch along done that day and then do the show afterwards. But I'm gigging that night, so I'm trying to get out of it. So we'll see. Still be able to do it that way. Yeah. So we'll see. But yeah, Saturday that's kicking off. So the Kitmen will have a brand new type show kicking off, and we'll be getting Jack over a few times for it. And when I go for the games, me and Jack will be doing it from over that side as well. So that'll be good.
So any Irish Reds or anyone in Ireland or whatnot, make sure you check it out as well. Always a pleasure now getting you on, mate. Thank you for taking the time out. Kev, I have dropped Niall's link. You are live at 9 p.m. So what time are we on now?
2 minutes.
In 2 minutes. So make sure you head over, chat. The show isn't start. Well, this show's ending, but we'll now if you need me, mate, I will be free. But yeah, please do head over. The link is in the comments as well. But chat, look after yourself. It was an hard watch for as we've said tonight, but hopefully the Reds. John, get your bloody wallet, Willie. You're out and you're in London. Go and splash the cash.
I got the wallet out. That's the problem.
Yeah, we got the wallet. It's getting just bounced off certain items as well. So, but Reds, lads,
needs to get the heavies out. Wally, come with you, kid.
In a bit, lad. But Bowley, we're coming for you in a bit, lad. See you later.